The political scandal surrounding Swedish parliament member Katja Nyberg has rapidly transformed into one of the most discussed legal and political controversies in Sweden. What began as a traffic incident soon developed into a major criminal investigation involving allegations of cocaine possession, suspected drug use, impaired driving, and unlawful driving after license suspension. The case has sparked national debate about political accountability, public trust, and the future of anti-crime politics in Sweden. In this video, we examine the evidence, the legal accusations, the political consequences, and the possible future impact of this developing crisis. How did the investigation against Katja Nyberg begin? The investigation reportedly began after Nyberg drove off the road near Stockholm during the Christmas holiday period. Police officers responding to the scene observed behavior they considered suspicious, including nervous movements, glossy eyes, dry mouth, and signs of agitation. According to Swedish media reports, officers decided to conduct a rapid narcotics screening test, which allegedly indicated the presence of cocaine. What did police reportedly discover during the search? According to released investigation documents, police officers allegedly found cocaine inside a small zip bag stored in Nyberg's belongings. Investigators also reportedly found a tube or straw commonly associated with cocaine consumption. These discoveries significantly escalated the seriousness of the investigation because prosecutors now had both suspected intoxication and alleged physical possession of narcotics. Why has this case become politically explosive in Sweden? The scandal became especially controversial because Nyberg was associated with strong law and order political messaging. Her party, the Sweden Democrats, has built much of its public image around fighting crime, reducing drug abuse, and strengthening law enforcement. Critics therefore accused the party of hypocrisy once the allegations became public. Supporters, however, argued that legal due process should be respected until the courts reach a final decision. What evidence are prosecutors reportedly using? Prosecutors are reportedly relying on multiple forms of evidence, including police observations, toxicology tests, forensic analysis, seized narcotics, witness testimony, and laboratory reports. Swedish media also reported that hair analysis allegedly showed traces of cocaine over an extended period of time, alongside traces of other substances such as MDMA and amphetamine. Hair testing is considered significant because it may suggest repeated exposure rather than a single isolated incident. What has Katja Nyberg said in her defense? Nyberg has denied knowingly taking cocaine and disputes several aspects of the prosecution's claims. She reportedly argued that the laboratory findings do not necessarily prove active intoxication at the time of driving. She also suggested that narcotics may have been present at a party she attended and claimed she did not always supervise her belongings. Her legal team has publicly stated that acquittal remains possible. What are the exact criminal accusations being discussed? Reports indicate that prosecutors filed multiple accusations related to narcotics offenses, suspected impaired driving, cocaine possession, and aggravated unlawful driving after license suspension. Swedish media described the indictment as involving several separate alleged violations connected to both drug-related activity and driving offenses. Why is the unlawful driving allegation important? The unlawful driving accusation intensified the controversy because it allegedly occurred after authorities suspended Nyberg's driver's license. Prosecutors claim she continued driving despite the suspension. In Sweden, aggravated unlawful driving can become a serious legal matter when authorities believe the violation was intentional or repeated. How did the Sweden Democrats react to the scandal? The Sweden Democrats quickly distanced themselves from Nyberg after the allegations became public. Political pressure increased rapidly as media coverage intensified. Eventually, Nyberg separated from the party and continued as an independent member of parliament. The party's leadership attempted to protect its public image by emphasizing that criminal investigations must be taken seriously. How has the Swedish public reacted? Public reaction has been deeply divided. Some citizens believe the evidence appears extremely damaging and argue that elected officials should immediately resign under such circumstances. Others believe the media coverage has become politically charged and insist that legal presumption of innocence must remain central until a court delivers a verdict. Social media discussions in Sweden have reflected both anger and skepticism surrounding the case. Why are the forensic details receiving so much attention? The forensic findings have become central because they move the case beyond rumor or speculation. Prosecutors reportedly presented toxicology reports, drug screening results, and physical evidence collected during the investigation. Hair analysis, in particular, attracted major attention because it allegedly suggested repeated exposure to narcotics over time rather than a one-time accidental incident. Could Katja Nyberg lose her parliamentary position? Under Swedish law, members of parliament can still technically remain in office while facing criminal prosecution. However, political pressure often becomes enormous in high-profile scandals. Whether Nyberg keeps her seat may depend on the final court ruling, the severity of any sentence, and the level of political pressure from both parliament and the public. How has this scandal affected Sweden Democrats politically? The controversy created reputational problems for the Sweden Democrats because the party has long promoted strict anti-crime policies. Opponents immediately used the scandal to criticize the party's credibility. Political analysts believe the case could influence public perception of the party's leadership standards and internal discipline. What role did the media play in escalating the controversy? Swedish media outlets played a major role by publishing investigative details, police information, court documents, and forensic findings. Photos, leaked details, and extensive political commentary intensified national attention. As more documents became public, the story evolved from a local police matter into a nationwide political scandal. What makes this case different from ordinary political scandals? This case stands out because it combines criminal allegations, narcotics accusations, traffic violations, forensic evidence, and political hypocrisy debates all at once. The fact that the accused politician had connections to anti-crime political messaging amplified the symbolic importance of the scandal across Sweden. What could happen next in the legal process? The next phase will likely involve court hearings, examination of evidence, witness testimony, and legal arguments from both prosecutors and defense lawyers. The court will ultimately decide whether the evidence proves guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Depending on the outcome, the case could end in acquittal, fines, probation, or more serious penalties. How might this scandal influence Swedish politics in the future? Political analysts believe the case could influence debates about political accountability, transparency, and ethical standards for elected officials. It may also shape future discussions about drug policy, media scrutiny, and how parties manage internal scandals involving high-profile politicians. Finally, the Katja Nyberg case has become far more than a personal legal crisis. It has evolved into a national discussion about trust, accountability, political image, and the relationship between public morality and private behavior. As the legal process continues, many questions remain unanswered, and the final court decision will likely determine not only Nyberg's political future but also the long-term impact on Sweden's political landscape. If you enjoyed this analysis, make sure to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth coverage of major international political and legal stories.